Okay, so let's talk about the straight line method. So the straight line method, kind of like it sounds, is a method that we use to evenly depreciate the fixed asset over time. But remember, we only depreciate its depreciable costs in the first place. So I'm going to, in these videos, how I'm going to do this is I'm going to show you the manual calculation. I'm going to go through the example the book shows, and then I'm going to kind of give my own example how to follow throughout that you can see how to calculate depreciation on your own. So throughout these, if you want to pause the video and try and calculate it without my help, that might be a smart thing to do, just to make sure that you're getting it before you see what my answer is. So the formula for straight line depreciation is my annual depreciation. That's important that we're saying annual, because if we were partial years, we'll have to adjust for it. But my annual depreciation is my cost minus my residual value, also known as its depreciable cost. Actually, I could shorten it up already, divided by useful life. Okay, so that is the formula for the annual depreciation for each of these, for any fixed asset that we have under the straight line method. So in this case, my annual depreciation would be equals my cost, so initial cost. Oops, sorry, I gotta put the parenthesis first. Equals initial cost minus my residual value divided by my useful life. In this case, 5 years. So it would be 24,000 minus 2,000 divided by 5. So my annual depreciation for this should be 4,400. So that was the manual method. And now I'm going to show you the Excel method. So my annual depreciation is going to find me the same number, but using a formula instead. So the formula in Excel for this is SLN, which is just short for straight line. So it equals SLN, open parenthesis. The f of x up here is just a little easier to see. So cost, remember I told you residual and salvage value are interchangeable, and they are. And so I'm going to click on salvage value, the residual value, and the life. And it does that for me. So $40,400 is my annual depreciation. So my own example here, we'll do my own example. So let's say that I'm going to buy an 18-wheeler truck, and I'm using it in the course of business. So let's say that truck cost me, let's say $500,000. It's a nice big 18-wheeler truck. Maybe it comes with a trailer too, but it's $500,000. Its expected useful life, we're going to say, is 10 years. And its estimated residual value at the end of 10 years is going to be $100,000. So here's where you could pause this and try and do this on your own. I'm going to manually figure out the depreciation, and then I'm going to use the formula to figure out the depreciation. So manually, I can simply do my initial cost minus my residual value divided by useful life. So that truck is going to have $40,000 worth of depreciation on it per year for the next 10 years. So I'll have that amount every year for the next 10 years. Using the function instead, equals SLN, cost, comma, salvage, comma, life. Close my parentheses. And enter. It should come up with the exact same thing. So there's my straight line method. Now, like I said, and I'll keep repeating this, but it's important. This is the annual depreciation. If I did not buy this on January 1st, I would need to adjust. If I bought this 6 months in, and only had 6 months worth of depreciation, then it'd be half. If I bought it 3 months in, then I would have 1/4 was gone, so 75% of this depreciation. This number that I'm finding here is only the annual depreciation for an entire year. So if I bought this on January 1st, my year one's depreciation would be $4,400. Let's do year one, year two, year 3, 4, 5. So if I bought on January 1st, year twos would be $4,400, and so on. It would go for 5 years. In year 6, I would have none, because I can't depreciate this beyond depreciable cost. Its depreciable cost is, let's figure out depreciable cost here. Depreciable cost, and if you recall from the prior video, depreciable cost is my initial cost my initial cost minus my residual value. So the depreciable cost of the books example, a piece of equipment, I believe it is 22,000. The depreciable cost of my 18-wheeler, my semi, is 400,000. So if I bought it on January 1st, this one would be $40,000 a year, every year for 10 years, and would have the, oops, sorry, I need this, $40,000 a year every year for the next 10 years. For a total of 400,000, which would be the total depreciable cost. The same thing here. Year 11 for this one would be 0. And that works perfectly fine if I bought it on January 1st. What happens if I buy it on, see, June 30th or July 1st, whichever you want to say? So I've done 6 months. So if I buy this on July 1st, so I've got depreciation for year 1 of July, August, September, October, November, December, 6 months. So I'm just going to copy and paste the years here. So I would only have, this is what we call this a little later in the chapter, but I wanted to cover it now just because I think it's kind of easier to see. This is what we would call a partial year depreciation. So if I bought on July 1st, then I would need to take the annual depreciation, in this case, $4,400 I already found, times 6 divided by 12. And 6 divided by 12 comes from 6 months of the year. You could just do it by half because you know it's half the year. But just to show you that it's months, I did 6 months because that's how long we owned it. Out of the 12 months of the year, so it would be half. Now year 2 would be the full 4,400, and 3 would be 2, and 4 would be 2. But I got a problem here. I've had 5 years, but really how many years have I actually depreciated it? I've depreciated half a year here, full year, full year, full year, full year. So actually I've depreciated it 4.5 years, and this is a 5-year asset. So what would happen in that case would be I would have another 2,200 at the end, the last year, to fully depreciate it in year 6, because what I've depreciated is 4 full years, 1/2 year at the beginning, and 1/2 year at the end for the full total of 5 years. Even if I continue using it after 5 years, if that's my estimated depreciation, that's what I would do. That's how a straight line depreciation works, and that's how a partial year depreciation works. The partial year works the same way no matter what. Depending on when you buy it, you have to adjust. If I buy it 3 months in, 5 months in, 7 months in, it doesn't matter. I did 6 months in just to show you the kind of easier math version of it. So that would be how I do straight line depreciation.